Saying that I have the best respawn system in Minecraft is a pretty bold statement to make, but I have a really good reason for why I think this. Typically, a respawn system or bed trap looks like this. A player has their respawn point set to a bed with only one block open for respawning in, and when they respawn, a pressure plate, string and observer, or even a pufferfish player detector is activated because of the player appearing in that area, and the player is pushed off by a piston. This basic design is used in every prison I've seen that has a respawn trap, which is why I think I might be the first person to come up with the design I'm showcasing in this video. The normal bed trap designs all have you respawning right next to the bed and require some redstone to push you off. My design removes both of those problems. No redstone needed, no bed in sight. This is what my design does. But how does it work? Well, let's go back to my initial thought process that I had before getting to this point. A while ago, I had a random idea. What if I can make a respawn system that doesn't require a piston to push you off? I was thinking of using entities in their hitboxes to push you off of the spawn platform immediately after respawning. So I tested it with boats, and when I respawned, I was on top of the boat. I thought, okay, that's weird, and like any normal person, I thought that if I were to put a block above the respawn space, it would obstruct my bed since the boat would actually make me taller than that block. So I tried it, and this was when I made a very unexpected discovery.
Huh?
So yeah, I guess this works. Turns out that the boat is the only entity in the game that has a hard hitbox besides the shulker mob. A hard hitbox in my mind means an entity that has a physical hitbox, like one that you can stand on. The boat and shulker are the only two entities in the game with this property. And sure enough, when I test this with the shulker, I get the same results. The first part of my theory for why I think this happens encompasses the feature the bed has, where when you block off all the outer spawn areas, you respawn on top of the bed. I believe that the spawn areas that place you on top of the bed are actually in the bed blocks themselves. I think this because you can actually spawn on top of any block shorter than a full block in the outer spawn areas. I feel like this happens simply because the devs wanted a way for you to spawn on top of the bed without having the spawn areas moved up. So this mechanic spread to the outer layers, and is what makes this glitch possible. When you respawn, the game scans every spawn area for a valid respawn location, and once it finds one that your hitbox fits in, you respawn there. The boat acts as an interference. When you have a boat placed in a valid area, the game becomes confused because it knows that it's a valid space to spawn in, but for some reason something is in the way, so it moves you up until it finds a new valid space. And this scan goes on infinitely, so having a bed at the bottom of the world and spawning at the build height limit is completely possible. An interesting feature I found is what happens when you combine these two mechanics together. Let's take a slab for example, place it in the spawn area, and also have a boat inside. When I respawn, you might be able to notice that I actually fall down a little. A slab is exactly 1/2 of a block, and so if I go into spectator mode immediately after respawning, you can see that my Y value is exactly 0.5 blocks higher than usual. This is the offset. When you use any block shorter than a full block in the spawning area with a boat, it will place you that much higher when you respawn. This is how I proved the relation between spawning on top of the bed and spawning on top of a slab in the outer spawn areas. I tested to see if the bed itself caused an offset, and it did. The offset is useful for when you want 2 block gaps in the tower you respawn on. A 2 block gap is something a player can fit in normally, but because of the offset, your head is actually placed slightly inside the block above the given space, and so it becomes invalid and continues scanning higher for a more suitable spot. I'm not sure where the offset mechanic could be applied in a real game, but this is really good for not only prison environments, but also just a normal game of survival. Being able to respawn in the middle of a room with no redstone or bed in sight can just be really nice to have. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.